guys, Dorothy here with Done by Dorothy, and I'm here today, and I'm sort of sad, but I'm sort of happy, sort of a mix of both. It is day 25 of our 25 days of ephemera, and we are here today to finish up our last ephemera for our 25 days, and it has been so awesome. You know, so many of you guys have come along for the whole entire ride. You know, you've made my day. I've had a great time. The comments, the support, the love has been awesome. So, you know, right back at you. It is day 25. Hard to believe. This will be the last creation part as far as our digital images will be. There will be a freebie for the covers coming out still. So make sure, you know, you watch the covers, even though you may not be interested in the covers, because there are digitals there that you don't have to necessarily use as a cover if you would rather use them as, you know, a part of ephemera. I was talking to somebody and they took all the digital images and created Christmas tags for their gifts out of them. So, you know, there's another idea for a way to use them. You know, you could do an altered folder. I mean, there's a ton of things that you could do. You could use them as Christmas ornaments. You know, there's Christmas cards. You can make vintage Christmas cards to send out using, you know, these with the decorated covers. It would be really cute. You know, so there's a ton of things that you could use, stocking stuffers, and the list goes on and on. But we are here for day 25. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. You know, if you have friends that are into junk journaling or any kind of crafting where they use images, you know, be sure to, you know, spread the news, share it, you know, because the more supporters we get, the more people we have on our channel, you know, the more we're going to be able to do in the future. So remember that. There will be links to the images. Let's see, the images will be on there, the Facebook group's on there, the Etsy shop's on there, how to contact me is on there. So let's get with it. Day 25, guys, here we go. We have this cute vintage Santa with the little kids, and the covers that we're using are going to actually be from the Old Father Christmas book, or is where all of these images came from, and from there and from vintage postcards. So, like, this was a vintage postcard. This is actually the Old Father Christmas picture book that he is actually holding in here. So that's just sort of a real cute play on that. So, yes, there's that Santa there, which is absolutely gorgeous. And then there's the ballerina over here, which is so cute. And I love the holly on there. And it's a vintage postcard. And it was from 1904, I believe. So this is day 25. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm sort of sad because, you know, we're coming to an end, but at the same time, it's so exciting because I want to see it bound in a journal. I want to see, you know, it all together. So on the postcard, I just trimmed right around the edges of the image, and that's how I'm using it. The Old Father Christmas, you could cut it out and use it directly as a page. You know, if you like to decorate and have things sitting around at Christmas time, you very well could, you know, cut this even around the outside edges and frame it even if you wanted to, you know, or, you know, print it onto vellum. You could follow the Done by Dorothy DIY about turning any image into a tissue paper, and you could print this out on tissue paper and actually adhere it to wood. You could do an image transfer onto wood or whatever, and it would just be absolutely gorgeous. So I mean, there's a ton of things that, oh, I'm sorry, that's horrid. You could also take these images, and I haven't done it yet. I'm going to, probably in the new year, I'm going to be releasing a video for another DIY, you know, where you can create it yourself. That you can use, you know, to turn your pictures, to put them into fabric. And I know there's a ton of things out there about putting it onto fabric. And, you know, putting them on fabric and using them in a journal is great. But we don't wash journals. We don't use journals every day. So, even though we know, you know, the images will stay on the fabric long term, it's not the same thing as, you know, making it long, you know, where it's going to last long term. So I actually have a formula that I'll be sharing with you that you can process your fabric in, before you print on it, and we'll go through how to print on it. You know, it'll be a mini series, how to print on it and everything, to turn any image into, to print on fabric, which you can use in your journals. You can use, you know, to sew on clothing. You could use it to make bean bags for cornhole, or, you know, bean bags for kids, you know, if you wanted to do, like, if you homeschool and you wanted to do, like, or even if your kids are in kindergarten, you know, you have toddlers or whatever, you know, you could print, you know, old-fashioned vintage images with the alphabet, like Kate Greenway images or something like that with the alphabet. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up while I'm talking, with the alphabet, and turn it into soft-sided building blocks, or into bean bags, you know, for kids to use. You know, get an old round laundry basket, and, you know, they can play a game, you know, and say the alphabet as they pitch it into the basket. I mean, there's a ton of things you could do with it. And another thing is, you could turn it into a quilt block to create a quilt. We are going to be doing, before the year is out for 2020, excuse me, I'm sniffling again, guys. I am so sorry, but that's just my life right now. You could, you know, I didn't on my last one, but I'm going to actually round the corners of the Santa picture here. And again, I'm using my Stampin' Up! Corner Rounder instead of my little corner rounder punch, because I don't know. I promise in the next journal I will use a corner rounder instead of my envelope punch, because I know somebody who said, yeah, that's so annoying, why are you using that instead of a corner punch? It'd be so much easier. And I just use it. That's me. It's here. So yeah, you could print it out and you know, make quilt blocks out of it and make a quilt out of it. So, you know, we are going to be sharing that DIY. And, you know, I was thinking with these images, it would be gorgeous as a vintage Christmas quilt. You know, done with all the old reds and the burgundies and the greens. It would be just gorgeous. So who knows? I may do a tutorial for that. I do quilt, so I may have something like that. It may be something I come up with in the future, but I don't know. Okay, so we have our postcard. So we need to pull out a piece of our, oh, I already have one here, of our vintage, or our vintage, oh my, our tea-dyed paper. And we need to back it with that. I don't really like the fact that, oh yeah, it'll be below the fold. And we're just going to back it with the coffee-dyed, tea-dyed paper. Very easy, not a lot to it. So yeah, we have a lot of new things coming in the new year. So, excited to start a new year. So, today is actually the 20th. I will be posting day 23, 24, and 25 today, which is the 20th. And hopefully tonight I will be releasing sorting your signatures, building your cover, binding and, you know, attaching to your cover. Let's see, what else are we going to do? Decorating our cover, you know, finishing all that. So we'll be doing all of our cover stuff in the next couple videos. I'm going to try to get all those and release those at midnight tonight, which is the 20th. I don't know if they will release at midnight tonight or if they will release, you know, by like noon tomorrow. So like in the next little bit, you know, expect, wow, I totally cut that crooked. Let me just trim this down here. We'll sort of lose that edge right there, but I would rather lose the edge and it be straight than be crooked, and it's not really gonna show up, really make a big difference. I don't think nobody's gonna really notice. And if they are, I'll keep it in my journal I'm keeping for myself. And we will be, I'm hoping to release the giveaway video for our Christmas journal. It's going to depend on, like, again, how soon I can get this cover done. I'm going to try to plan on releasing it the 21st. Our giveaway video We will be giving away this Christmas journal that we've worked on. The other one I'm keeping myself because I want it just as a memory, and I thought it would be sort of cute if, you know, every year or every one we do together, if, you know, I keep a copy, and it's sort of, I don't know, just a throwback that sort of lets me sort of revisit, you know, all the things that we've done together. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece of my green. Let me even it up. This is, again, the green paper tape that you buy when you're, like, wrapping presents. It's like the craft back paper ribbon. It comes with, like, bows and stuff in it. I just thought it went with this really well with the green and the red. I tell you, when I get done doing this, I will definitely need to clean my scissors. They have goobed up over the time that we've been. And I'm not going to worry about it being straight. I just want to throw it down. And again, I'm just going to throw some art glitter glue on it because it's paper, so it works really well. Glue that up, and I'm just going to put it out the side. I'm maybe a little bit lower than I did last time. I'm going to put a little bit off the edge because I can trim that up that way. And then just trim the little edge up so it's straighter. If I was crooked. I'm going to grab the paper where I just backed my postcard, and I'm going to grab my 25 stamp. Again, we are using 25 Days by Stampin' Up. I'm using this because it is a set of numbers 1 through 25 that I did. So, you know, this will probably be my go-to for Christmas. I'm not sure we'll do 25 days for Christmas next year. We're going to do something Christmassy, but I'm not sure what yet. And I am seriously thinking, and I want you guys to comment and let me know what you think about this. I want to do Christmas next year, but I'm seriously thinking about doing the Christmas in July, as a Christmas in July, instead of so close to the Christmas. A, it gives everybody time to get it done. B, everybody's so busy, you know, during, and I'm just going to sort of put this in the center here, and then I can cut around it. But everybody's so busy up towards Christmas. So I'm seriously thinking about doing Christmas in July. If you think that would be a good idea, or wow, you can tell that I live in the Midwest. I'm just, nothing against Midwest people. We just have our own way of talking sometimes. And I'm just gonna, again, sort of V-cut this, sort of give it that flag look. And you don't have to do that. You could just rip around it if you want to. If you have a star punch that is that big, you could punch it. There's a ton of things you could do. Again, I'm trying to, I mean, even with this whole series, I don't know, I'm trying to use, you know, basics. You know, stuff you could buy at your local big box store, that type of thing. Not even so much specialty items, because some people may not have those. And I'm actually going to put this out here a little bit. Oh, you know what? I did not ink that up. So I'm going to grab my ink and just real easy sort of box around the outside of it. Trying to, staying on it, you know, if you ink it first, it is going to help. If you're following along in the videos, then, you know, you'll be able to catch that, hopefully. Although you can lean your edge right up to it, and it makes it a little easier to get. There you go. Can't even tell I didn't do it before ahead of time. So, that is done. I want to do our little decoration. I'm going to grab me a piece of cheesecloth here because, you know, we love cheesecloth. Let me put my lid on here. What was I going to say? I was talking before I started talking. Let's see. Just talking about things to do. Anyway, Christmas in July, if you'd really like that, then, you know, comment. I'm going to ink around. This is just a little die cut. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I'm trying to use basic supplies, like from big box stores and things like that, because people may not have a lot of specialty punches. They may not have, you know, a lot of things. I like sewing around mine. I love to sew. and I like bringing that into my journal. I love the look of it. Sometimes I do a little bit different ideas as far as sewing. So let me see. I want to bring a little piece of lace in too. I'm going to flag this just like I have everything else with the little V out of it, notched out of it. You know, I love bringing that element of sewing in. So I'm going to put that there. And let's bring my little doily over. You guys, my poor little doily. We have just used it up. And I made this myself. I've been crocheting for a while. I don't know. Let's see. I've been crocheting for about 10 years maybe or so, and you know, just sort of had oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to put my little, oh well, we'll put it up there now. We'll just do 2 staples instead of 1, and we're going to staple that on there. Ta-da! So we have a little extra here, and if you want to cut down your cheesecloth, you can. I'm going to leave mine like that. I'm just going to sort of angle it a little bit though, because I sort of like having it not have that squarish look to it. I think it looks better if it's been, yeah, I'm going to shab up the edges a little bit, pull off some of those strings. I want to do a burlap and lace journal, but yeah, so I've been crocheting for about 10 years. So yeah, that one's done. We're going to put it to the side. We're going to start our Father Christmas one. Now, I did not round the corners on this one, but we are going to on this. The first thing we're going to do is grab a extra piece of tea-dyed paper and find, you know, whichever side you like. I think I like the water spots on there, so I want that to be my back. So I'm not going to glue this. First of all, let me rip this page up. Well, let me sort of cut along here. I'm just going to rough cut this up here. And then I'm going to hold it, and I'm just going to trim around the edges while I'm holding it. So, but yeah, so I had a friend that, you know, taught me sort of the basics and of crocheting. And my mom crocheted when I was younger, and I just never did get the knack for it. And I had a great aunt that, oh my gosh, that she was amazing when it came to crocheting. I mean, I think she could have, you know, crocheted a house. I mean, seriously, you guys, I mean, she crocheted everything, you know, so it was something I never really took an interest in, never really wanted anything to do with, and, so I just never did. But a friend taught me basic stitches, and chain stitch, and single, and, double crochet. And, well, she didn't even teach me double crochet. She taught me how to chain and how to do a single crochet, and showed me how to make a swatch, you know, a block, a square, and told me to go work on it, and when I can make a block and I thought it looked nice, to bring it and look to her and bring it to her. And I took it to her the first time, and she grabbed it and ripped it out and told me to do it again. It didn't look right because it was all wibbly wobbly and all crazy. So I did it again and took it back, and that happened about 3 times. The 4th time I did it, it looked great. And so she told me to start working on a afghan, a single crochet afghan, which took forever. And by the time I got it finished, it was a twin size. But by the time that I got it finished, I pretty much, you know, could get that down. Well, once you do a single crochet, everything else sort of builds off of that. And so I've just sort of self-taught myself since then. I'm going to glue this with Fabri-Tac and adhere to this, and then we will, you know, do all our stuff after that. So we're just going to Fabri-Tac it, and I'm sorry if I'm just rambling, guys. Anyway, So from there, I sort of self-taught myself how to do the rest of it. And then this past year, decided I was going to teach myself how to knit. And I've taught myself how to knit. And, which if you crochet, you sort of get a basic. It's not the same, but there is some similarity to it. And I'm just going to line this up on here. So, you know, if you don't know how to crochet, it is not hard to learn. You know, then you can make your own doilies, your own lace edgings, things like that. And I'm trying to find my bone folder here, guys. And one thing about it is, if you learn how to do that, you can go to any Goodwill, estate sales, yard sales, I mean, online even, eBay, Amazon, I mean, you can find it everywhere. You can find vintage lace edging books and things like that where you can, you know, make your own. Some of that went through onto my page, but it's okay. Okay, then we're gonna take our inked up coffee dyed paper and we're gonna attach it to the back. Now to start out with, I'm just gonna put a little glue in here. If I need to go back and add a little bit of glue to, you know, hold it down after I get done, then that's fine. Oops. Put my lid back on there. So what I'm going to do is just sort of hold my fabric up and I can sort of guess where it's at. And it's Fabri-Tac, so you have a time to, so if you grab your fabric and hold it down, you can guesstimate and just sort of push it up to where you want it to be. And then, you know, grab the side and just push it up to where you want it to be. And then you pretty much got it lined up. Then it's just pushing it down and varnish it down with your, but yeah, so, you know, if you learn to crochet, you can do that. You can make your own flowers, tons of stuff. I have a really cute pattern to make button flowers. You use buttons as the centers. They're really, really cute. I may do a tutorial on that. Because I know that's something, you know, we're always looking for doilies. We're looking for, you know, all that cute vintage goodness. Okay, so I have the edges on the sides done, and I will show you how I did that. Basically, I took my scissors and, you know, took my fabric and held my image down to it and just rough cut a square out of it. So I would just like cut it here and cut it here, you know, rough cut a square. Then to do the pinking shear edges, well, I can't do it now because it's glued on here. This is pretty easy. Well, okay, with my fabric, it's easy to do across here because you sort of have the words to guide you to know if they're straight or not, because I managed to like actually get it on there pretty straight, right? Okay, but if you're using your big square, there's my scissors. Let me cut this out and I'll just sort of show you. I'll just cut a little square. Okay. Okay, so if I have my square, what I would do, fold your square in half, fold your square in half again. Of course, you know, this is small, so it's a lot easier. This one would be like this big, so I would fold it in half and then fold it in half again, so you sort of create a rectangle. Then I grab my pinking shears and I go on the side and I just cut while I have it folded up, because then you're going to have, your sides are going to be more straight. Do you see what I'm saying? Versus, and I mean, you can sort of, you know, if you cut it crooked, you can straighten it up while you're doing that. But like, so what I would do is, I would hold my, let me straighten this, square this up really fast like it's my image. I'll just do it like that. That's good enough. Okay. And this isn't straight at all. I'm just, so if this is my image, then I would hold my image. I know about how much of an edge I want. So, you know, if I want 1/4 of an inch of an edge, then I would hold this here. So I can sort of, you know, see where my edge is. Look up to where, you know, I get my 1/4 of an inch. And then just cut. Okay? That's going to create my sides. Okay? Then, fold in half again. I'm going to do the same thing as far as like the height of my image. So I'm going to hold it. I'm going to guesstimate where my 1/4 of an inch is. Or if you, I mean, I know some people tend to be a little OCD. My husband is like super OCD, like everything has its certain spot. So you know, if you are, then you can measure. You can, you know, mark with your, you know, get your ruler. Get your ruler, you know, measure out your 1/4 of an inch. Let me grab my pencil here. You know, measure out your 1/4 of an inch. Okay. I would use a pencil because, you know, you can always get rid of pencil. You know, mark your line. Okay, so I see my line there. Then I can hold my thing, you know, put my, you know, my things on there and then snip. If you have to measure, if you're one of those type of people. There are all kinds of people in the world. There is nothing wrong with being like that. Sometimes I wish I was like that. And then I can put my image in and I've got my 1/4 inch image all the way around. My 1/4 inch edging. Like it. So, I mean, this would be cute, actually. Let's go ahead and do it while we're doing it. Might as well. We're already here, huh? Okay, let's ink this up. Let's ink it up. So see, you're going to get 2 for 1. So, okay, let me put this to the side. I'm going to set this to the side. We'll come back to that in a minute. And we'll finish that. So you'll get a freebie out of it. Then I'm just going to, you know, go along here and cut my edges. I glued this down first instead of cutting it the way that I showed you. Because every once in a while, you know, you do things like that. But, yeah, normally I would just hold it and do it. And it's going to make it a lot easier to do. So this is going to be like a giant, it's, you know, just a journaling spot. But it sort of has that faux postage stamp. And this Santa is just, he's just gorgeous. So, I mean, it really adds to that, like, vintage postage stamp type look. So it's like a giant postage stamp. So we will put it there. So since I have this last little dwindling part of my doily over here, and this one I'm using on my cover, my center is going for my cover. So I have this last little bit. Let me pull out a little green ribbon. Let's just run the gauntlet of colors that we've had. Let's see. I do have a little piece of this gold over here. So let's chop a little piece of that gold. Just, you know, join the colors together. I don't want to use red because I have my red in the background. Let me, oh, I have a small piece of cheesecloth left over here. So we'll just use our little scraps here. So let me find my Fabri-Tac. Let me glue my little square down that we did as a sample to show you. So we'll just, you know, here you go, guys. So I'm going to glue my little square down. Right? Now let me see if I had any more. I did have one more of these holly leaves, but it didn't have any berry on it, so I didn't want to use it because it didn't have a berry on it. But I think I'll glue it down. Okay, let me do this since my glue is deciding it's going to erupt because I didn't squeeze it out. So I'm just going to like slide that on there. Oh, I didn't ink it. Daggone it. Pull it off. You gotta love Fabri-Tac because it does give you that time. That's the thing So we're just going to ink around the edges so I give it some color. Fabri-Tac does give you some time to get your stuff done. Okay, so we've got that on there. Okay, so while it's all gooby here, I want to put some cheesecloth on there, making sure I leave some of my edges because I want it to show. So I'm actually going to cut a little bit of this off because I want this little edge down here to show. My pokey tool. Pull some of these threads over here on the side. Sort of rough it up a little bit over there. I have Fabri-Tac on my fingers, so it was a little bit easier to do with my pokey tool. Okay, so we have that. Let's bust some gold down and get it there while I'm trying to clean off my Fabri-Tac here so I can get it closed. And we're just gonna, yeah, right there. That's good. Okay, then we're gonna add the little green ribbon just to add a little bit of green in there, even though we've got the green there. Okay. Let's actually cut this down a little bit. Put that in the trash. It's sticky. So we're gonna put that, let's stick it right there in between the, okay. And then I can Fabri-Tac this down, but I want it to be sort of more, and I want to add it, give it a vintage look. So let me grab my little ink sheet here and sort of ink it up a little bit. Just give it a little bit of darkness. Vintage it up a little bit. And that'll make me feel good. That way we used one whole entire doily and managed to do 25 days of ephemera and the covers. Okay, so let's just take this. I want it to sort of overlay, but I want everything to sort of show. And I'm going to use my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher because, you know, I have to. There you go. And we have a little faux postage stamp cluster that we can throw down on somewhere on our book, or even on the cover, if we wanted to. Or we could put it over here, you know, do it on the back of here, but I don't want to do that. I want to leave that plain. Okay, so let's pull our journals out and figure out where we want to stick them. Okay, so I actually think, let me sort of set these to the side here. I actually want something a little bit more, because I mean I have this tag on here, so it's blank. This is blank too. So I actually think that I'm going to tuck my Santa in behind this front page book. To give the page a little bit more. Also because, I mean, to me it's just a really good way to start the book. I'll put my little clip on here. Okay, so we've got Santa behind there. We've got the bird in here, and I just sort of like that bird there by itself. I think it just adds the right touch. Okay, so let's pull this back over. So we have this and our little postage stamp. I'm going to put in, I'll make another one for my book, but, well, no, I won't, because that's most of my doily. No, I have one more little piece hidden over here. So, we have this. And that's our little flip out thing. So leave that there. And we have this. We have that. Get that little, so that fills that up. We have that. We have a little stamp on there. That's blank. Of course, we have everything here. Okay, that's full. That's full. How about on this page, we put our little stamp just to sort of add, and it looks really good next to this. So we're just gonna Fabri-Tac it down. And I'm gonna put it towards the outside edge, I think. You know what? Maybe down here in the corner. I am so sorry, guys. Please forgive me. I'm gonna put it down here in the corner. Sort of at an angle, because, you know, why put anything straight? There you go. And I actually put it upside down. I sneezed and managed to turn it upside down. How does that work? And see, just that little bit, and I mean, that wasn't anything, and it was just enough that it adds a little bit to this page. Now this is a little too white for me. Well, we'll do it when we rearrange our signatures, because I'll pull it all apart. Okay, so we have that. We got our Father Christmas there. We've got this. This is, we have everything here. We have that there. We have our flip. We have our bag. We have another page there. That's full. Oh, you know what? I think this would look really good right here, because I think that just sort of adds, sort of rounds that out. And we already have balk because we have the little clip here. I'm actually going to pull this over this way some. And sort of pull it out diagonally so it hangs out. So this clip, the little boot, hangs out on the edge. And by hanging out on the edge, it creates a side charm. Not only that, but that takes that balk of that boot, which is a good 1/4 inch, out of the thickness. It's like, okay, like we can see our pages here, you know, and squeezed together. You know, and, you know, that's roughly in the center here, even where they're balked up. you know, you're talking, you know, a little over 1/4 of an inch. If we put that boot in there, that creates a 1/2 inch. So, you know, by putting that out towards the side, that sort of takes some of that stress off the thickness. And, you know, there will be other things that we'll do that way as we get around. Like our little paper clip here, we may push, you know, push these beads sort of around the corner a little bit. Yeah, hook them around the corner. And they will go. You just have to sort of work with them, because they don't like going once they're around that corner. Excuse me for sniffing, you guys. I don't mean to. But I don't want to stop and blow my nose continually and have to pause and pause. Okay, let me... Okay. Again, I am going to have to stop and blow my nose. Okay, and this was here to stop this. So, we put this on here and twist it. Put it towards the side, like that. That's going to put those beads out the side. And that's going to take away from the balk inside our book again. So, you know, all those add up to help, you know, then that doesn't look near as thick as what, well, here, I'll show you. Here is our completed, this has everything in it. And it's this thick, which isn't bad for a journal, you know, because you're talking, by the time you get your closure on it, you're talking 2.5 inches. Not bad. You know, that's pretty standard and not, okay. Whereas, this has everything inside. The beads are still inside, our little boots inside. Even when we squeeze it shut, you're talking 3-ish, actually probably a little bit more, about 3¼ inches. So, you know, we save. Oh, and that actually had a page missing out of it because I haven't put it back in yet. So, yeah, that makes a big difference. So, that is it. We are done for today. This is day 25, you guys, the last of our images, except for our covers. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe. We have been so grateful for you being along with, you know, our 25 days of Christmas. You know, Merry Christmas. If, you know, I'll have more videos popping up over the Christmas, you know, New Year's time. So I'm not just leaving you stranded now that we did 25 days of Christmas. You know, thanks for tuning in. Those of you who have been along for the whole entire ride. You know, it's been amazing. I have totally enjoyed it. You know, let me know what you think. Let me know if, you know, a series like this where, you know, we're breaking it down. I know I love digital kits. Don't get me wrong. I love digital kits. I mean, I have some extreme favorites that I love their digital kits. And I do a lot of journals with digital kits. If you look through my flip throughs, a lot of them have been like that. But I like the ones like this too, where you're just breaking it down to basic images, where you can use images out of books, magazines, you know, all kinds of vintage postcards, you know, just ephemera that you can find along the way. Because sometimes, you know, you want something that's just more basic, that's not that printed digital look of nowadays. I think that, you know, the things where you piece the ephemera together and stuff like we did with this Christmas book creates a more vintage feel. And, you know, I really like that. So if that's something you like and you've really enjoyed it and, you know, it's something you want to see us do more of in the future, let us know in the comments. You know, thanks for coming along. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day. You know, Christmas is coming up Wednesday. So have a great Christmas Eve, a great Christmas. I know a lot of people are having Christmas parties, things like that. So please be safe. Have happy holidays. And we'll be back for the next one soon. Thanks. Bye.